I'm Dave. What we're going to do here is go over all the steps to bring your Doom mod to life and publish it as an official Doom plus Doom 2 mod. Whether it's a single level WAD, and WAD is our file format, which means where's all the data, or a feature length megawad, we'll lightly cover pretty much everything. This will not be a deep dive, but rather touch on necessary concepts and give you a jumping off point to explore the finer points and find your voice using the tools at hand. Welcome to Chapter 2. This will be all about learning the basics of Ultimate Doom Builder and building a short functional level. We'll go over terminology as we go, line defs, sectors, vectors, and things. Explanation of the logic that you will use for interaction of events, for lack of a better word. Direct input, switch, which is remote, gun, which is by shooting the thing. We go over tags and how they work in conjunction with these, and how to use secrets. We'll build and test our first level, and we're just going to go over doors, lifts, lighting, teleports, keys, and other pickups like ammo, weapons, monsters, and a functional exit. And we're going to save the WAD at the end. So let's begin with our UDB all installed and ready to go. We're going to simply file, new map, map 01. We're doing this in Doom 2, and so we want to use the Doom 2 Doom format. This will ensure compatibility with Doom plus Doom 2. We will need a resource. You must have the Doom 2 WAD, which you can get from your purchase copy. You can copy and paste that a million places. That's fine. I recommend doing so, making a copy in case somehow you fudge something up, because things happen. So like this, I'm pulling it from my Steam version, right? So Doom 2, which I already had. And we'll look at that later. We have our first blank slate. We're going to start by building a room. We'll do this using line def mode. Line defs are, they're walls, but not necessarily walls. They can also be logical lines and elevation changes, lighting, everything. So we're going to just make a square room. You can press L as a shortcut and not deal with all this. Insert. And then we're just going to make a nice rectangular room. And we can take a look at it already by going to visual mode. Next, let's start our player so we have a place to begin. And again, you can see that also in visual mode. So we have our start room. Let's go ahead and lower the ceiling to match the door we're going to use. Once you're in sector mode, you can simply right click, and here we'll make it 72 units, which we'll see why in a second. So long as it's taller than our player, it's fine. And here you can see the player height is actually 56. So no problems here. Back to line. You can change the size of your interactive grid, and 32 is pretty big, but for smaller things, let's go 16. We're gonna make a door into another room. Or you know, let's do the other room first. We'll start. No. Backspace to go back. I'm gonna go ahead and make it wider. It's kind of like just drafting, right? Now, a door is simply a connection between two sectors. We're going to build it. 64 wide. This is what it looks like at this point. Now here's the door functionality. We're going to set the ceiling and floor at the floor value. Because what a door is actually it's a piece that just lifts when you interact with it or trigger it. So 0, 0. We're going to change the floor and ceiling. I believe flat 20 is a good one. And we'll go into this too. We'll look more when we fiddle with this room. But you can either type it in if you know. It kind of autofills, so you can do like so. Or actually go into a full-on menu, which is handy. There's a lot, especially if you add your own. Look now, it's a missing texture. So we're going to set our textures. We're going to give ourselves a door. It has to be on both sides. Well, for this case it does. And we'll just use door 3. No offset. We're going to give it an action, and you just pull down this menu, door, all these options. We're just going to do option 1 right now, which is DR. This is direct, repeatable, door, open, wait, close. Also monsters, which means they can open the door too. This is the majority of doors in most Doom things, is this. We don't need a tag for a door unless you're interacting with a switch, which we'll go after or go into later. So it sure looks like a door, doesn't it? This next bit, you know, we're going to go ahead and look at it in the game. So we want to test with DSDA Doom. That's fine, there's no monsters. Doesn't matter. Okay. It's our room. Spacebar. Now that's pretty weird. It just looks like the rest of the walls and it moves. We don't want that. So we're going to take these. We're going to change that texture to, I think what I want to use is door track. Now to keep it from moving, we want to use the lower unpegged flag. That's because it moves from the lower position up. And by doing that, it kind of locks it into place. C for clear, save. Oh, not save yet. Let's test it. There's our door. Beautiful. Now what are we going to do next? I think we should make a bridge across here going into a third room. Now this bridge will be above. Let's make it poison. So we're just going to use our lines. Insert where you want to start. Nice and simple. Now you can't see a difference, but you can see that it highlights as a separate sector. So we'll make this lower, not too low that we can't step out if we step in, but we'll drop that down to -10. We'll change the floor. We'll go to the menu, go to liquids, get this hooky green stuff. Let's make it darker too. You know what? We'll do it right here within this same thing. Let's go like 140. And we want it to hurt if we walk into it. So that's under the specials. There's only 17, so it's not a lot to go into. We'll just use -2 or 5% health on contact. No need for tags here either, but let's see. It's pretty cool already. But these need a texture, so we're going to do that from the visual mode. You just click, and we'll do the other one as well. As many things as you want to highlight. If they're facing different directions, which we'll look at in a second too, then you're going to have problems. But go lower, because that's the one that needs something. It's pretty smart. It knows what it needs. You can actually add things that it doesn't need for various effects. But let's just do this brown poison. Okay. Not too bad. So let's go ahead and make another room. In this one we'll build a lift. It remembers the last thing you did, so it automatically was like, hey, you want -10. We don't. We want 0. And we'll use floor 01 just like the previous. Make another door, which is again just using lines to make a sector, dropping this guy back down to 0 also. You know what? Let's use a key. Let's put a key here. And so to make that requirement is just right here in the pull down. We want a DR. Make it blue. Set these up. let's go ahead and pop in something to pick up before that. We'll have a shotgun. Let's make our key. Blue key card. Make sure your settings are what you want them to be. There are a couple of times, honestly, that I had it, it retains the last thing that you made, and so I had the settings different. So like it was a monster just for hard, and then I made a key, and I forgot to change it, and so when I play test on easy, there was no key. We'll put that right over here. Playing a monster. We'll just do just one of these guys. We're gonna make him face away and put him on ambush, which basically means that he's deaf. We'll go ahead and play test what we have so far. Our shotgun. Hey, he sees us. Now he's dead. We're going to try to open the door without the key. And it says you need a blue key. We get the blue key. Voila. And here's our new room. As a wise man once said, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, before we go into this room up here, let's add something visually that tells our player ahead of time that they need a blue key. So you know what we can do? We can just add one of these vertices, and you can scroll in and out with the mouse wheel. We're going to add on both sides, just a little piece. When we look at it, you can see it's a separate texture. So we're going to go ahead and do that from this too, just to get some practice. Door blue. So now we know that we need that key. And we're going to go ahead and add some visual flair to these too. We'll do it from here. Use door stop. Looks a little better. Okay, in this room we have the dreaded star tan. We're gonna, because this is all poisony, we'll go ahead and use that texture all through it. Right, that's how those. That. There it is. Now it looks a little weird because it's a very tall texture and this is a very short room. So we can either use the directional keys and we can actually move the texture around a bit and up, and that works. We can also take those, they're highlighted, and we're going to use the mouse wheel to simply move them up. to make it a little more accurate, we want 128. And so you can directly type in what you want there. So like 128. This is not quite right because it's already negative 10. You can actually do a little bit of math in here. So we'll have negative 10 plus 128. Very nice. We need to add some textures to that because it now sees that there's nothing there. We'll just use this fella. C to clear. We're going to change all the ceilings too. That wood one is kind of weird for where we're at. We'll just use ceiling 5 too. Why not? And the floor too. Let's change the floor. Do flat. Let's do 5-1. It's like 4-8, but cruddy. So we've got some little visual appeal going on. It's not perfect, but we're not going for perfect right now. So we'll take a look in here. It's pretty sweet. We've done all of this in less than 20 minutes. Let's quit. Okay, we've gone over monster, a gun, a key, doors. Let's get into a lift, which we'll use a switch to activate, and then we'll have an exit. So back to line defs and insert here. We're going to make this just, it can be pretty small, it's fine. Do like so. This is going to be our upper floor. And we're going to make a sector for the lift, which works a lot like the doors in a way. In a way, maybe not. Poor analogy. So we're going to make this a ceiling of 128 because these 64s work very well for just stock blocky rooms. Make it a little bit brighter. And we're going to want to fix that too because that's a little funky. But first, we're going to make our higher floor. We'll make that 64 for the height. Back into visual mode, and we can see ta-da! Let's go ahead and pop a texture on one that looks like a lifty, mechanical, interactive-y sort of thing. Let's do support 2. It's a favorite. But it doesn't do anything yet. There's no logic. Now we can do a walkover. We can do direct input to where you just go up to it, hit the button, you know, interact with it, and it'll move, which is probably the way to go with multiplayer, like deathmatch anyway, because you don't want too many things getting away from direct things happening. But for this, we're going to make a switch. So we'll use the lines, and we'll simply add one here. And let's make it look like a switch. Which one do we want? Well, we made this 64 wide, so we'll do a 64, and we'll go ahead and make the room look like this texture. That's fine. We'll just pick, where are you hiding? It's like that, right? Not quite. It doesn't match either. But we can do something with that too. We'll just add another spot on those, and we'll make that just metal, just to break up the appearances. It's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. We just want it to work. Now let's bring this to life. Our first tag. And the way tags work is the two parts of the machine, so to say, are the same tag. So we used one to operate one, not one to operate two. So we'll go to lifts, because that's what it's going to control. Switch, repeatable, lift, lower, weight, raise. And that was tag 1. So all we're going to do is that has all the logic for the lift. This will simply be what it plays with. Tag 1, no new logic, it already knows. And let's see if it works. There we go. Except there's no texture there. So that's awfully funky. We gotta fix that. And that before we go up here and make our exit. Now you'll note that it doesn't know. It doesn't know that there's a missing texture here because it's already here until it moves. And this is where you have to outsmart the program. It's the front. See a little line sticking out? That's the front facing side. The other is the back. And so you just want to do the same thing as this one, which is the lower will be support 2. We'll look at that in a second. Real quick, because of this door, the door is only a 72 high. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make a space for it to occupy, which is only 72 high. We'll go ahead and do it from here. Make a little box. Ceiling, 72. Take a look. That's nice. We need to add some texture, so it knows what it's missing. We're going to go in there and simply, let's see, 9 nice neutral comm span. That's okay. We'll give her a test one more time. Bang. Key. Door. Lift. Very nice. I guess we just make an exit here. And you can play with this as much as you want before. You know what? We'll do a teleporter. Let's do a teleporter. We're going to put that right here. Just to have a place set. We're going to make it a separate room. Just making these. Oh. And we're going to make these face out because they're going to have functionality, and so you want it to face the way you're going to be touching it. And you can flip those by just pressing F when you're over it. And we'll leave that the same. We'll change the height. We'll make it 64. You know what? No. Let's. We're gonna make both these at the same time. Well, sorta. You have to hop back and forth. We'll start by elevating it a tiny bit. Plus 10 is fine. Do our texture for our teleporter, which you can find under Hell. We'll just use gate 4. It's fine. If we look, that one, and there's that one. Let's switch to line, and we're going to give these a texture. Starting with this one, we're going to give it an action and a tag. So let's give it tag number 2. Action, teleport, walk, repeatable, teleport, which means that if you walk across that line, you will teleport. But how do we go from here to here? So first that's tag 2, right? So that sector will be tag 2. And you also need, under things, teleport destination. Again, watch your settings. Give her a quick test. We can't fit. It must be too tall. Or the ceiling's too short, rather. So let's look. See what I was talking about before, height 54. So we'll go ahead and increase that. Make all those taller. Fill in our blanks, just with a placeholder for now. This is quick and dirty, but it's a good starting point. Shall we port? We shall. We can't return yet, but we can teleport, and that's where we're going to put our exit. So let's repeat the process on this one. Start with the sides. Tag 3. WR teleport. This sector will be tag 3. Things, teleport destination. Now, by default, you see this lights up when that tag is touched. That's a good way to keep track visually. And this is an important note. With the front facing away, that way you can walk across it and you won't reactivate. If these were inverted, then you'd teleport from here to here, but when you try to walk off the pad, you just re-teleport. But this way we should be totally fine. We're gonna make ourselves just exit real quick. Just a switch. And it doesn't really matter. We're simply, use that again, that's fine. Action, no tag needed. Exit. You have S1 for switch 1 to exit the level. The same for the secret level, which is something you'll define within UMap info, and by default it's level 15, I want to say, in Doom 2, and then that goes to 31, 31 goes to 32, and 32 goes to 16. You can also do walk 1 exit, and use that for like teleporters that, you know, that it's like a, it looks like a teleporter, it looks like a pit. Whatever you want to do, it's your game. Let's do S1 exit. We'll take a look at the, and we can't see it. We're going to move it with the directional keys. And let's give her a go. Teleported. Let's go back. Yep, no problems. Exit. Success. And it just goes to the next level in the PWAD. Whatever you don't have written, it'll just go to the next stock. And I believe that should do it. We're going to save our WAD now. Because right now it's just map of 1. It's not a WAD yet. So we're going to save map. And now we're going to name our WAD. We're going to put that into our You should have a much better system than this. This is years of goodies stacked. Not great. Mod tutorial. I'm going to save it right here. And we're going to name it tutorial. Why not? It doesn't matter what you name it. You could rename it. You can copy. It's very, very flexible. It wants to open what you write. Very handy for making backups and version control if you're doing a large project. That's it. Tutorial.wad is now a thing. We're going to hop off here and we will continue with chapter 3.